So what the hell are virtual humans? Why are they raking in 1.5 billion views a month on YouTube? How do you make your own? And will some even cure disease? All the big questions we're going to answer on this episode. Okay, so this quite wild story really starts in 2016 in Japan with VTubers or virtual YouTubers, and one that really blew up called CarynAI. CarynAI is a self-proclaimed super intelligent AI that presents herself as an anime girl. She makes gaming videos, she also has released her own music, does virtual gigs, collaborations, and occasionally ventures into the real world on an actual TV screen that someone carries around. Sure. She has 4.5 million subscribers across all her channels, and it's estimated that she makes in the region of $2 million a year. Not bad for never showing your face, whoever is behind her and doing the motion capture and the acting. And so from then on in, the VTuber movement began to explode, primarily in parts of Asia where there were some strong ties to anime culture, but it's now a completely global phenomenon. Talent agencies even popped up to manage these virtual talents, probably the most well-known one being HoloLive out of Japan, that now has a UK branch and has since created some of the biggest VTubers in the world. And what about creating your own? Well, nowadays it's actually pretty simple to create a basic VTuber yourself. You can use a free program called VRoid Studio to easily select and customize a character, or get one of the free or ready-made ones that are on the marketplace. Live 2D is another great option, and there's lots of free face tracking programs too, like animes, to get your character animated. You can basically get set up and stream for free in pretty much under an hour, or instantly if you go in browser to something called Kaleidoscope 3D. Here I am as an instant motion tracked VTuber. Pretty cool. Obviously, it comes down to your personality and the content that you create, but if you don't want to show yourself, then it's a pretty cool option to get online and start making content. But if you don't want to become a VTuber yourself, and I'll forgive you if you don't, why is all of this important to understand? Well, for one, the wider idea of virtual humans represents a whole new frontier of entertainment. The traditional influencer boom was obviously massive, but it's arguably getting a bit tired and in need of some freshening up. Seeing where this trend is heading means spotting those early opportunities to come. Virtual humans, after all, can do things and live crazy lives that physical, boring, standard humans or influencers could only dream of. And some of these virtual humans are blurring the lines of reality altogether. In a second, we'll take a look at a recently released and unbelievably realistic new virtual influencer called Anna, who is made by a well-known game studio. But there's a few more massively popular ones that are definitely worth a mention and have been around for a little while. One of the most well-known ones is Little Michaela, created by a company called Brut. She has 2.8 million followers on Instagram and 200k subscribers on YouTube. She lives the robot life in LA, where she has not hot girl summers, but bot girl summers, talks about celebrities, pop culture, and chats with her fans. Some of her content often completely blurs reality, as she has photos with real humans. In these examples, there is a real actor playing Little Michaela in the photos, which they then edit afterwards to keep her robot style. Her YouTube videos, however, are fully CGI, as she tells us about her life, and even recently became the face of brand PacSun, which saw a bit of a backlash after the announcement. People were criticizing the brand, saying that it was outrageous that they couldn't find a real person to represent them, so had to go with a CGI character. To be fair though, with Little Michaela, there's no risk of unearthing some old controversial tweets or her saying something damaging to the brand. People are massively engaged with her life and stories, and you can start to see why this trend has been growing rapidly. Teflon Sega is another awesome example of a virtual human, in this case an anonymous artist who makes incredible music and who lives in the Metaverse and tells his story there. Teflon actually came on this show a few months ago, so I'll leave a link if you want to check out the interview, which completely blew my mind. He beamed in direct from the Metaverse and we had a conversation about everything that was going on. He is a motion captured avatar using incredible production via Unreal Engine to make next level content that a normal human artist just never could, including his live virtual gigs and his adventures through space and the Metaverse. If you want to see a little more behind the scenes, Corey Strasburger, aka Xanadu Blue, is another great watch. He talks a little more about his process and how it works when he's not in character. And all of these types of creations do really connect with real people. Take Ember, for example, who has millions of followers on TikTok. She is a character where the storyline is that she is the devil's daughter, and it's not dissimilar to what you might find in an animated film, except her existence isn't limited to just the film. They're putting out content with her and stories almost daily, and she's amassing this huge following because of it. That sort of model, to me, feels like a big deal, and I wonder if we'll see the reverse of the traditional happening. Rather than, say, Toy Story movies being released and then everybody getting to know the characters and then buying the merch afterwards, I won't be surprised when some of these virtual creations who already have massive followings online actually then spin off to go and make movies themselves, and with an audience that's already knows them and is ready to watch them in a different setting. The same company who created Ember, called Invisible Universe, have even done big celebrity deals as well. Like this one with Jennifer Aniston, where they've actually brought her real-life dog, Clydio, into the virtual world and are making content with him every day on TikTok as well. Now, of course, starting with digital characters as IP first isn't brand new. We've seen the trend of video games being turned into TV show crossovers, like The Last of Us being the most recent example and massively successful. Also Resident Evil, Super Mario, even Sonic the Hedgehog, and loads more. But okay, back to virtual humans. And earlier we teased the mention of a new virtual human, potentially the most realistic of all, who goes by the name of Anna. She is the creation of Krafton, who interestingly are best known for the very popular battle royale game called PUBG. They've definitely gone for a hyper-realistic but relatable approach with some interesting additional elements. So when they talked about her character, they said the following. Curious viewers may have noticed a green crystal ring on her finger. The ring itself allows her to teleport to different locations and interact with the world in various ways. In addition to never having to worry about traffic, Anna is also the owner of a fizz bubblegum, which gives her the ability to raise the mood and feelings of everybody around her. A pretty nice touch. She's recently released a song called Shine Bright, which is worth a listen. It's genuinely a real banger. And Krafton, who, although primarily are known as a game company, clearly have bigger plans here. Last year, for example, Krafton hosted their first virtual gig inside PUBG as a collaboration with K-pop superstars Blackpink. This performance won the MTV EMA for Best Metaverse Performance last year in 2022, and it's something that we've seen be massively successful in other platforms like Fortnite and Roblox. So you can start to see how we're forming this whole new category of entertainment. Virtual celebrities and artists that will have a presence in our world and in-game or virtual environments as well. Most likely soon to be brought over in mixed reality to the real world as well. And this all makes sense for new types of experiences and stories, but also being able to scale the IP and character to do thousands of gigs and appearances a year if they so wish. And the idea of creating live content inside virtual worlds is something that we are focused on at Based AF as well. If you want to see how we've built our own holodeck setup and what that means with our full motion capture rig and everything that we're planning, there's a video dedicated to it on the channel. I'll leave it linked in the description, of course. Now, when it comes to creating your own hyper-real character, the best place to go is definitely the MetaHuman creator from Epic Games. If you don't know, it's totally free and part of the Unreal Engine suite, which they are constantly updating and adding wild things like amazing facial animation capture with just an iPhone. So you can easily start playing and creating your own hyper-realistic character. Bringing it fully to life involves some Unreal Engine knowledge, but it's pretty cool what you can do straight away. There are also people experimenting with bringing metahumans into UEFN, aka into Fortnite, and we have a whole video explaining the big latest developments with everything that's happening there. Okay, so that's an overview on virtual humans as characters, infiltrating the real and virtual worlds alike. But the concept of virtual humans actually goes even deeper. On last week's episode, we talked about the wild story of influencer CarynMarjorie, who has created an AI chatbot that speaks with her voice. People have been paying $1 per minute to have her as their virtual girlfriend, and she made $72,000 in the first week just from 1,000 beta signups. And this is the other side of virtual humans that in theory is kind of an unlock for everyone, depending on if and how you want to use it. This whole idea of having a digital version of yourself that you could rent out if you have a specific set of unique skills or a dedicated audience who just love your personality. We've seen it recently with artist Grimes as well, who's definitely gone fully the way of embracing this whole idea. Now that there are convincing artist vocal models to replicate famous voices, she's decided to release her own software to encourage her fans to do exactly that and split the royalties 50-50 with the creators. The software is called elf.tech if you want to try it yourself. In my mind, this is a pretty smart approach, and being first to kind of embrace it means she gets all the attention as well. She coincidentally also drops 2 new songs at the same time as all of this was happening. Similarly, last year we saw Bruce Willis become the first major actor to sell his image rights to a company that specializes in creating movies using AI. He himself has publicly shared that he has aphasia, a condition which affects his speech and language, and announced his retirement from acting. So in this example, perhaps it could be a great use of a virtual human using AI for him to continue to appear in movies. Kind of interesting. And to blow your mind even further, we're beginning to see some pretty fascinating other use cases in this sort of area. A company called Sandbox AQ are trying to bring down the cost of developing and testing new drugs, which can be in the billions of dollars, and 66% of which fail. They're doing this by rebuilding the human body virtually and testing treatments on virtual humans first. So they claim to rebuild the structure of the human body virtually and then run disease and treatment simulations billions of times to collect loads of data before they start on clinical trials. Time will tell how successful that all is, but it's an interesting example of the kind of thing that's happening. Similarly, CarynAI, who we've had on the show before, have also developed a simulation product that aims to help parents of children with a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. They're trying to help the parents develop better coping strategies in certain situations. So they essentially prototype the simulation of a child's bedtime routine, with parents able to talk to the animated child in a simulation to learn how to best achieve a peaceful transition to bed, all using AI. You can check it all out on their site right now. So there we are, from VTubers to medicine, pushing the boundaries of what us mere physical humans can achieve. Virtual humans are here in various forms, and no doubt this is going to be an area of crazy opportunity over the next few years. And we chat about all these kind of trends every week on the Based AF YouTube channel, so hit subscribe or follow on your podcast platform, and we'll keep you up to date with everything that is going on. See you for the next one.